Hey friends, my name is Aaron Ciotti and I'm plugging batteries in. Welcome to Front Page Friday. I don't know about that name, but it's the only F that I could find that... Front Page is the only F that I could find that lines up with Friday and has anything to do with news, so... as good as I can do. Patrick is on his way right now. We are going to be covering the news. Only the articles that you guys want us to cover, though. There is, over on my Patreon, there is a text channel. I'm sorry, over on my Discord, rather. There is a text channel called The News for patrons. You can join my Patreon for as little as $3 a month, 10 cents a day, 7.5 cents per hour of content that I make. And that'll give you full access to the Discord, and you'll be able to post whatever news story that you want Patrick and I to just cover in a terrible way. This is not the Joshua Bardwell news. This is the complete polar opposite, where we're just gonna make fun and scream and pee, and it's gonna be great. And so yeah, this is gonna be closer to John Oliver's news than Dan Rather's news. Does Dan Rather do the news? He probably doesn't. He probably hasn't done the news in about 100 years. I'm also going to, while we're doing the news, I'm going to remove screws from the broken WeBleed Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop and put it into the second prototype crown frame that Zotek very, very kindly sent me. To get this thing back up in the air, and then at the end of the stream we'll fly a couple of batteries and I'll smack it around a little bit to see if we can get the second prototype frame to break in the same spot, or yeah, we'll just see how it holds up. So that's the plan for tonight, my friends. This is also a Q&A live stream, as they all are. Ask any question that you've got in the chat over this direction, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Even better, when you ask your question in the chat, leave a put CiottiFPV in there. When you do that, it'll light up an orange. You can put an @ you don't have to put an @ you can do that with each other. If you type Matt space Trombley into your message for Matt Trombley, his name will light up an orange, just like you're seeing here. So if you're trying to get somebody's attention, just type their name, just as if in real life you were to say someone's name, instead of just, you know, rambling nothings at them and then they like, wait, what? I didn't know you were talking to me. What are you doing, dog? What? You've brought a toy down here. Yo. We got this dog groomed. And his little haircut. I hope you're ready for this. I hope you're ready to just piss your pants. This is going to be the funniest part of this live stream. Maybe. Come here, buddy. Ready? Ready? You got to be ready for this. Look at him. Look at this little cartoon character. Doesn't he look like a cartoon character? Keep your little head up. So this, he's a schnauzer doodle. Schnauzer. He's half schnauzer, half poodle. And so we had him do a schnauzer cut. And boy, did they ever do a schnauzer cut on him. His hair is real short now. Look at those eyebrows, man. Oh, here he goes. Here he goes. He's being bad. He's ramping up to be bad boy. Bad boy. Look at those eyebrows, man. Look. It's hard to see. There you can kind of see it. His eyebrows are huge. What do you want from me, dog? No. Don't go. No. Maybe go up on the table. No. Don't eat the frame. I need that prototype frame. All right, bad boy. Get out of here. Oh man, he looks so funny. He looks so absolute. I mean, he looks extra funny to me because he was just super floofy until this. So for me, it was like, you know, a shock. For you people, you don't see him every day, so it's probably not as much of a shock. Here he is putting his toy. This is it. This is what happens. He just delivers his toys to your crotch, and with the expectation that you'll throw it. I didn't throw it very well, but there he is. Look at him. Look at this little troublemaker. Look at him making trouble. Oh God! Look at that dog. Oh! Oh! Look at this dog! Look at him! Hey! No foot. Look at those arms, man. Look at this. He's looking like a bodybuilder. Look, they shaved his body. Oh, they kept them all tight on his body, but then they left this like full length. He looks ridiculous. Oh, he looks so fun. Hello, small dog. Look at that face. Oh my God, look at that face. Don't you just want to scream in agony? That's just me? Okay, well. His new thing is he goes around to all the rugs in the house and he just annihilates them. He just chews on them and throws them all over the place. I'm hoping he grows out of that, because that shit's been annoying, but, you know, be alright. I think he was doing it because he became obsessed with the carpet tape that was under the rugs, but now that he's eaten all the carpet tape, yeah, hopefully it's not as fun to throw the rugs around anymore. And the camel has been delivered to my crotch again, so there's that. I might have to put him upstairs. I was hoping I could wait until Patrick gets here, but this camel and crotch thing is gonna get old quick. In the chat, Hockey Rounds was first. Matt Trombley was next. Mr. Dr. Death, Douglas Otwell, Wesley Clark, Kevin Sumner, Xenakis FPV. Yo, Nevin has arrived. Xenakis FPV is FPV Exchange. One of my favorite people in all of FPV. Such a cool dude. Yeah. What's up, brother? How you been? I hope you've been awesome. I know you've had a ton of family and work stuff going on. Amazing to have you back, dude. Kevin Sumner, Frank Nicholas, Riot9, Scott FPV, Sky Sailor FPV, Tongue Out FPV, Mr. Dr. Death again, Gusto, Northern Tier, Professor Biohazard, Metal Dirtskin, Brandon Woodford, Dayron, Flush FPV, Skippy FPV, Peter Nicholson, Ramdonko, Kevin Sumner again, Espander, WeBleed's in the house. What's up, Jesus. What's up, Zotek? I'm getting my Z's confused. Safe Zone FPV, Professor Biohazard, and Ramdonko. Look! It's been delivered again. Oh! This dog is crazy, man. Crazy animal. The craziest animal of all the crazy animals. Like I said, I'm just going to be removing screws here below the camera. I don't really find it necessary to show this to you guys. You're not going to learn anything from me doing this, so I'll just knock it out here. Ah! It's the problem with working here is that I don't have the mat to catch the screws, so I tend to lose screws when I work on stuff here. Yeah, I don't know if it's a camel or a llama or an alpaca. I guess it has the hump, so it is a camel. I can't show you because I tried to pick it up, and that means the dog needs to bite it. He plays the dog game where he drops things for you to throw for him, and then when you go to grab them, he takes them away from you. Because I don't know. And in the process, you know, your hand gets bitten, your crotch gets bitten, your balls get bitten. No, that hasn't happened yet. I'm sure it will, though. Because he always delivers the toy to your grundle. If you want to talk directly to me, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV into the chat. The folks that have done that so far are Mr. Dr. Death. He said, hello, CiottiFPV and gang. Professor Biohazard says, news by noobs. Nice. I wouldn't call Patrick or I noobs in any stretch of the imagination, other than to do it. We're noobs at covering the news. You know, the Joshua and Blunty are going to give you the factual news. Like, they prep for it. They do a good job at that. And they're two very technical people. They're the perfect people to do the actual news. Patrick and my strong suit is being jackasses. So we're going to really lean into that, and we'll give you the jackass news. You'll still probably learn something, because we'll read the title of the news thing, and that pretty much tells you everything you need to know about it, usually. But then we'll scream and yell and pee our pants, and yeah. Hopefully you'll laugh with us, rather than at it. It's fine if you laugh at us. I'm okay with that. Bot Grinder at 9 o'clock Eastern. 2 and 3/4 hours from now. Get ready for that. I'm sure he'll put on an amazing show, as he always does. Hey, by the way, there is a micro FPV podcast, and it's really good. It is called Quadverse. Kwadverse. Put it over here so you can actually see it. Quadverse. It's on all the podcast places, and it's really, really well done, and you should definitely check it out. CMYK FPV sent me a link to it. He's like, yo, you got a shout out. And it was Porto. Our boy Porto was one of the guests on there, and yeah, he gave us a little shout out. I think he even called out the Gangly Gang. I might be wrong about that, but yeah, he mentioned like what an awesome community of folks that we have here. So yeah, shout out to Porto, shout out to Quadverse. They do about an episode a month, which is about the right frequency for someone that has a full-time job. You know what I mean? Like it's really hard to work 40 hours a week and then be into FPV and then try to create something in FPV, right? Like you can work a full-time job and then be into FPV, but then to also throw like creating content on top of that is extremely difficult. So yeah, amazing work by I sent Quadverse a message on Instagram. I'm like, yo, amazing work, keep it up, absolutely love it. Cause yeah, I know that's tough. I spent many years in that world trying to figure that out, trying to figure out how to, you know, squeeze enough time into FPV outside of a full-time job, and it's difficult. It's very, very difficult. So those that manage to do it deserve our undying love and support. So yeah, check them out. Subscribe to the podcast. That's the with podcasts. You like subscribing to it or following it or whatever the hell they call. That's like their metric. So be sure to subscribe to it to help Quadverse out, which you're gonna want to anyway because it's really well done. So yeah, check it out. They've had some fantastic guests, and yeah, I hope they keep doing it because it's you know, we don't get much love within the micro community, so it's always awesome when no here's your llama camel. It is a camel. Look, it's got a hump. Here's your camel, buddy. If you throw something that you don't want them to go eat, you just follow it up with, hey, here's your toy. No, don't look over there. Play with your camel. He's becoming self-aware. Oh, hey, hold on. Let me turn off the dehumidifier. I'm sure it's really loud. Did anybody notice? Anybody notice the horrendous amount of noise? Oh my god, dehumidifier. You got it all the way down to 40% humidity in here. Good shit. Hey! Hey! Why am I doing that? I don't know why I'm doing that. The Ultimate Freestyle WeBleed FPV Tiny Whoop is out. Let's put it in the new frame. With a llama. No! Play with that camel. Here we go. He's delivered it again. There's been another camel delivery, my friends. Oh god. WeBleed FPV says the crown will break in the same spot. Ideally, we'll break them all to gather data on the weak spots. Testers testing. Hell yeah, man. Hell yes. Zotek, have you had any other crash feedback on it? Hey, also, do you happen to know, it looks like it, but do you happen to know for sure whether or not the battery bay has been shifted a little bit, or is this battery bay symmetrical? You'll probably know from the 3D design file. Although I know this was a joint project, WeBleed and Fractal. So maybe Eves would be the one to ask that question. But it certainly looks like the battery bay was shifted back this way, which is a good thing. That's what I prefer. It's really, really hard to tell. It's hard to like hold the frame perfectly level because as soon as I twist the frame, it like the ability to see whether or not that is even kind of goes out the window. Nah, it's shifted. I can tell it's shifted. Never mind. It's definitely shifted. So it's pushed back this way, which is perfect because this is where you want the rear to be. And you got this little thing. This is just an arrow. Just think of this as an arrow that points forward. And that way the battery bay is shifted back in the appropriate direction. So that's great. So we're going to use that arrow. And we're going to throw this AIO in here. And yeah, come on, get in there. This A30 connector, I think, is slightly bigger than the BT 2.0 connector, which makes it a little bit more difficult to get this battery lead through here. The cool little way that I do the battery lead, the only real problem with that is that it makes it a little bit harder to get the damn thing through the frame. But you know, you're not going to be swapping frames that often, so you'll be fine. It kind of marks up the shrimp wrap, but who cares? So we're in the new crown frame. Happy days are here again. Dog, what you doing? You just waiting for me to throw the camel again? Look at this poor camel. He ripped all the stuffing out of its head. Sad camel. Sad. There he goes! Alright, let me get caught up on the chat a little bit more here. Kevin Sumner says, Dan Rather was fired in 2006 for reporting on George W. Bush's military service. Was he? I somehow missed that. Although not surprising at all. But we won't go down that rabbit hole. Aspander says, hi! What else we got here? Chick with a Stick says, your hair makes me eggplant. I never know how to respond to that. I guess I just say, thank you. That's kind of you. It's kind of you to eggplant. WeBleed says, yes, broke in the same area with another tester who was flying in his basement, concrete floor. Nice. That's really good test data there. So, okay, if you've got two of them that on hard flooring have broken in that same spot, I'm not going to fly this upstairs anymore because that's... Why does it keep freezing? Come on, OBS. Because that's probably enough crash test data to know that on hard surfaces, that's where it's going to let go. I'm going to test this only in the basement here on the carpet to see if there's some other stress point that we can find. What are you doing, bad dog? I'm going to kick him out of here, especially because I left the door open. The reason why he's down there is I left the door open so that I could fly up the stairs. But, yeah, let's get some crash data on not hard surfaces on this second prototype frame. Come on, buddy. Come on. Let's go upstairs. Time to go away. It's my favorite time for the doggy. Ready? Go! Now stay up there. Good boy. All right. I got that out of the way. Oh! Hey, the flying at the beginning of the stream, by the way, was the AOS 35. My God, there is a lot of camera cage in view. So this is like the old school version 1 AOS 35. Chris redesigned these camera mounting plates here pretty quickly after this frame came out because of this issue, because there is an acre of them in view unless you use a very specific camera, which I believe is the old school silver DJI camera, Vista camera. So yeah, this is a build that I just kind of threw together to get some black box log data. So it'll work for that as long as I can figure out how to replace this this screw that the head broke off of. So yeah, I'm tempted to get one of the newer generation versions of this frame, but for crashing hard, I don't love the A-arm design. The A-arm design does a great job at keeping vibrations out of the gyro, but it doesn't tend to crash all that well because you've halved your carbon fiber thickness. So if you hit back here, it's just going to break, right? Whereas if you have a single arm, that single arm is a lot stronger in crashes where you're hitting one of these. So I don't know. I might just figure out a way to swap out this screw and then get the data that I need to get off the black box and then move to a different move these guts to a different frame, like the Grinderino or like some stuff that's coming in the future here. But yeah, that footage was with this Axis Power 1404 4500-ish kV motors, Gem Fan 3052 propellers, big pitchy propellers. I was really impressed that these 1404s had enough power to control these props. The tune was great. It felt great in the air. Really good power, just enough RPM. Runtime was fine. It was a great. This is a really impressive drivetrain, which is 4S 850 mAh battery, and then yeah, Axis 1404 4500 Gemfan 3052 propellers. This build with a 3.5-inch propeller, I would not like. It would be way too toothpicky. It wouldn't have any throw, and when you came off the throttle, it would just slow down and stop really quickly. A 3.5-inch prop for me, for freestyle, you're going to want the build to be like over 300 grams, and this one is not. This one is at about 260, I think, all up. Maybe 265. And yeah, at that weight, I really like the way it performs on a 3-inch propeller. Although you could probably see in the flight footage at the beginning, like I was still having trouble with the off-throttle throw. So like technically, I would kind of like it to be even heavier, but not really, because then you start to run out of power, and then you got to go to a bigger motor, and then it just snowballs out of control. So yeah, nice flying little build. The tune was like just dead on right out of the box. It did rattle another screw out, so I've now lost 2 of these M2 conical screws, and I have not had great luck finding M2 conical screws with Allen heads in them. So yeah, I don't know. I think I might have like 1 or 2 extras. I definitely have a short extra one of these screws for here. I don't know what to do about this missing screw. It's definitely a little bit more flexible there on that corner than this corner, so it is doing something, but it might actually be totally fine for the black box logs that I need to get off of it. So I might just kind of leave it alone and let it rip. But yeah, there you go. I will play the rest of the flight footage from that at the end of the stream as well, if you don't want to rewind back to the beginning. Let me get this canopy screwed down here real quick. And we will be one step closer. And then I'll just basically have to bolt the motors on. In the chat, CMYK says, hey, gangly gang. WeBleed FPV. No, we got that. Mr. Dr. Death says, Nimbus FPV type CiottiFPV to your question, and he will see it and answer. That's how it's done, my friends. All of you old G folks, if you see somebody new or just somebody that forgets to tag me and asks a good question, please do exactly what Mr. Dr. Death did and just either let them know, or you can also just type, CiottiFPV quote and then copy and paste their question and then give them credit, question by Nimbus FPV. So Nimbus asks, where is it? Quick question. How do I oil a tiny whoop motor? Just one drop in. Really, a question that there's actually way more to it than meets the eye. I personally kind of don't recommend doing that. I know that Tiny Whoop sells Tiny Whoop motor oil. Here's my issue with it. So the motor is a motor bell. That's the top part that you can really see. And then there's a motor shaft down the middle of that. The shaft goes into the stator, which is what mounts to the arm. That stator has either bearings or bushings in it. With Tiny Whoop motors, with every motor bigger than Tiny Whoop motors, it's bearings. And you don't really need to oil them. But half and half Tiny Whoop motors will have either a bearing, which you don't need to oil, or a bushing. And the bushing is like a copper color. I don't know if it's actually made of copper. It might be brass, but it doesn't look like brass. I don't know what the bushing material is made of. But in the stator down here, there's a cup on the top and the bottom. In that cup, so the stator is made of, I'm guessing, aluminum. So they build a cup. Aluminum would not be a good material to have a motor shaft in. Metal Dirts thinks that they're bronze, whatever. whatever they are. They're a different color, so you can see them. So the aluminum would be a bad material for the motor shaft to roll around in. So they make a cup on the top and bottom out of the aluminum, and then they drop in a bushing. And the bushing is just solid metal. And in theory, it would help to add a little bit of oil in there. The problem is, it would only help to add the oil between the motor shaft and the actual bushing. You do not want oil to get between the bushing and the aluminum stator. And unfortunately, tiny whoop motors are so goddamn small that there's really no way to... Like, the only way to do that would be to pull the C-clip, pull the bell off the motor, put the oil on just the motor shaft, and you would just have to put the tiniest little bit of that oil, and then very carefully put that motor bell back on so that you don't have any excess oil that you know, the tolerances between the bushing and the motor shaft are very tight. So if you have any extra oil on that motor shaft, when you put it on there, that oil is going to overflow up and out of that bushing and get in between the bushing and the stator. Realistically, you're not going to do that. You're just going to put a drop of oil in there and it's going to go fucking everywhere. And so so the problem then becomes where is the least amount of friction between the motor shaft and the bushing, or between the bushing and the stator? And like, if that bushing starts rotating at all, it's just going to be bad. So I am not in the camp of, yes, you should add oil to your tiny whoop motors. Because yeah, once that bushing starts rotating, it's going to be worse than if you hadn't oiled them. Here's what I'll say. If the motors, the only time that you would want to oil the motors is if you've crashed them into like really nasty dirt or something like that, where don't oil the motors unless you absolutely have to. How about that? If the motor is making a funny noise, if the motor obviously is not spinning freely anymore, and you've confirmed that it's not like hair in it or some other issue, then maybe, basically, if you're about to throw the motor away, that is when you would maybe add oil to it as like a last Hail Mary. I don't think that you should add oil to motors in any other scenario, because I think there's as good of a chance for the oil to get between the bushing and the stator, and for that to ruin the motor rather than it to actually help the thing out. So leave oiling these little motors as an absolute last resort, and if it brings the motor back from the dead for a little bit, awesome. The other issue is that having the oil in there, it doesn't attract dirt, but it holds on to dirt. So once you've oiled a motor, it's going to get dirtier faster. So yeah, run your motors dry, my friends, if at all possible. But like, as a Hail Mary, you can certainly give it a shot. I just don't recommend it unless it is a true Hail Mary. Cool. Tiny whoop motors are pretty inexpensive, so I would err on the side of just replacing the motor most of the time. But you do you, my friends. That's just been my experience. My experience has been, I had that thought process a long time ago as a leftover from car stuff, namely like poly bushings. When you go from rubber bushings to poly bushings on a car, you have to grease them or they'll be very squeaky. And you got to be really careful about greasing them, because any excess grease, dirt is going to cake up like absolute hell, and it can cause issues. So that thought process was kind of in my head with FPV when I started to really dive into like, hey, how can I make these things perform better? Because you would think that, especially like with metal on metal with the bushing design that oil or grease would help it. But yeah, the side effects of it are pretty nasty, potentially pretty nasty. Stop it!
He was just fine for the 3 minutes I was petting him. Jesus. And then as soon as I took my hand away, he freaked.
What a little jerk. He's like, oh, you're not going to pet me? I'm going to scream at you then. Oh, you've stopped doing something nice for me? Ah! Ah! Ah!
Guess who's here?
Kill him! P. Richard Scott is here, the one and only, you dirty bastards.
What's this?
I broke the visor on my driver's side. eBay to the rescue. $23 later, and good to go.
Shipping.
Yeah, right. Hell. What's new, yo? Well, hold on. Wait till you're sitting over here, and then I'll ask you what's new. Let me finish getting caught up on chat. Mudderton says, are you looking for countersunk M2 screws, McMaster car to the rescue? I never order from McMaster car because they charge for shipping, and it's just crazy. I always try to buy on eBay. I tend to get better deals. But thank you for that link, Metal. I'm going to leave it open in a tab, and if I can't find them on eBay, I will certainly order these. Metric alloy steel hex drive flat screws. Very cool. M2 by 0.456. Hell yeah. 25 in the package. Yeah, see, this is why I never order from McMaster. You're going to get 25 of them, and it's going to cost you like $8, $9, $10, and then you're going to pay shipping on top of that. So you end up paying like $15, $20 for 25 screws, and the screws end up being like $1 per, and that just seems absurd to me. I wish I had one of these stores near me. I do have a Fastenal near me, but they never have metric stuff really small, which is super annoying. Fasten some of which. Where was that? Was that on the floor?
Yeah.
Word. What's happening, chat? Let's get caught up here so that the news can start fresh. June Loco says, what's good, my FPV peeps? Freelo just says, 3G ain't nothing, but would it be worth it to have GPS on a tiny whoop? The biggest problem with GPS on a tiny whoop would be the weight of the GPS module would cripple the damn thing. And I don't know of any tiny whoops that have enough extra UARTs for you to run the GPS off of. What voltage does GPS need too? I wonder if
5.
If it would does it run on 5?
Well, there could be one that maybe doesn't.
So you would eat the 5 volt back. I doubt that it would run off of 1S voltage. So you would eat up your 5 volt back, and I don't know. And tiny whoops are so slow that you wouldn't really be able to get far enough away that you would need GPS to guide you home. So I don't know. I don't know if it would be worth it. Hey, I get to use the guest. Ah, look at that. There it is. Patrick's a pirate. Oh. All right. So, we're caught up on chat. No, hold on. Kevin Sumner says, I think the new Flywoo or JHE-MCU AIO runs on 1S and has an F405, which has plenty of UARTs. Very cool. Very, very cool, actually. And Riot9 says GPS can run on 3.3 volts to 5 volts.
Boom.
I wonder how it would do with the tiny whoop batteries sagging up and down and up and down and up and down. It would probably just shut off. Never know, though.
Yeah, 3.1 seems to be my home. 3.2.
Right.
That's good to know. There you go.
All right, yo. Let's dive into the news with CiottiFPV. Yo, hold on. I need a thumbnail. Get close-ish. We need like a thumbnail with both of our big dumb faces. All right, do something else. I did the same thing. All right, cool. That'll be enough for a thumbnail for the next time. All right, so I'm gonna move it over here, and this is the full Patreon. You can get access to this Patreon-only section down here for as little as 7.5 cents per hour of content that I make here on the YouTube. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com, join my Patreon, and you'll be able to unlock this section here. And you'll be able to see what we're going to cover on the news ahead of time. The question is, where the hell did we leave off last time? I remember this
certainly wasn't
death
bad.
machine. And I also remember this. awesome little trick here.
Canopy is sick.
So I think this is pretty much where we left it. We did talk about the Boxer Max.
I remember the red air unit.
Did we
'cause I
cover
painted
this?
One. Yeah, I painted one that color, remember?
All right, cool. So we talked about this HCZ. Well, I can just
I didn't mean to
go
call
by
it an air
dates,
unit.
I
My
guess.
apologies.
It's an air unit, as far as I'm concerned. It's just made by a different company. Silent Switch. I think we did talk about this one. Let's dive into this. I think we might have talked about this, maybe, but the O3 air unit.
Oh, I think we touched on it.
Costs $260. Oh, you know, actually, oh my God, Tommy messaged me yesterday, and we had a very similar conversation about the O3 air unit. If you're paying attention, that should tell you something about what's coming in the future. But even Tommy agrees that the O3 air unit is really expensive. This whole like Flywoo naked, so there's two different versions of this, like a really lightweight one and like a little bit less lightweight one. I don't know, man. That's a bit much.
Can they buy it?
Isn't
Can you buy
it?
it naked?
I think you can buy it with this done, but like, good Lord,
So
man.
that's $275
Two.
after everything. Is that what it is?
Let's see. O3 naked.
Out of stock forever.
I mean,
$700.
of course, but you know.
In every quad, but not separate.
Yeah, see, so that right there, in every quad, that's the issue with the O3 air unit, right? Like, how?
I did look one up.
How?
Now there's like 17 different quads for all. It's like when you say you go down to an event and you got to have 15 sets of goggles to fly with everyone.
Right. Like, if you've got one rig, sure, O3 air unit. But, like, if you've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 rigs, like, forget it.
Like all of us do.
Forget it. It's just not, it's not going to happen. So, to then take it and take away all of its ability to shed heat that DJI put a bunch of work into,
For us to hack it and go to 2 watts.
Well, that too, right? And then we're putting files on there to although chat has what's the deal? I don't think anybody's really done that yet. I don't even think the power output is adjustable on the O3 air unit, is it? I believe it's a fully locked down, like, hey,
It's time. It was time.
Basically, it's dynamic power.
It was time. They own it. They did the
It's not surprising.
the government controlling thing all at the same time.
Oh, I wonder if that had something to do. with
It was all the excuse they needed. Works for Apple.
I don't know. The dynamic power thing scares the hell out of me because I think that is a reason that I lost a rig in Charleston. I could be wrong, but I have not had a crossfire failsafe after turning off dynamic power, so whatever. FP Avery confirms no power settings for O3.
Just one.
So yeah, it'll probably be about another week before there's a hack for it to make it 10 times as powerful or something.
What is it putting out?
Like that.
700 or a watt? I know the other one was 700 max, but I imagine.
That's a good question.
I imagine it's something that's.
Did Rosser test that?
Guess I'm supposed to know. This is the news. It's putting on a watt.
It is 1 watt.
Doubt me.
Confirmed.
You fuckers.
Confirmed. 1 watt.
Oh, yeah,
Don't
you're
believe
right.
anything you hear on here. Ramdongo says 250 milliwatts. It better not be.
See?
I mean, well, it's probably running at 250 for most of the time.
The news takes
Or less than
multiple
that.
people.
Good to go. Crown prototype frame number 2. Oh wait, I gotta plug the motors in.
Sure is party.
Isn't it? So yeah, that's like my issue with the whole making an O3 air unit naked. If you're wealthy and $260 per VTX and camera is not a big deal for you, awesome, make them naked all day. But ooh, the last thing I want is to make the O3 air unit naked and then lose an entire rig, right? It might not just be 260. It might be the cost of the entire rig because you put it up in the air, you send it out there, it overheats, you got no video. How on earth are you going to get home with no video? So,
Definitely not putting a GoPro on that fucker.
All that being said, I don't necessarily understand the air unit anyway. It's a split camera. It sacrifices the FPV performance for HD. The HD is probably going to have a bunch of props in view, which I personally hate. The O3 thing is interesting. On a micro bando bashing rig, kind of cool, but I don't know, man. The goggles are really expensive. I keep hearing that the goggles are super uncomfortable.
Why is that so hard?
Technically, you can take the old goggles and put firmware on them that makes them work.
Doesn't
like,
make it more comfortable.
You lose. Well, apparently the old DJI goggles
everybody got used to
way
it.
more comfortable than the O3s.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah,
see?
supposedly.
God.
I think maybe the O3s were made for not American round faces. It kind of sounds like is the deal.
Look at that. Look at
maybe
that.
Not though.
Look
Isn't that nice?
At that.
Do you not have one of those in yours?
Not like
Patrick
that.
is pointing to the True RC Singularity short
Just
antenna
sitting
stuffed in the Mobula 6 canopy. What's up, Gert Jan? I haven't seen you in a while, man. Good to have you back. Hope you're doing well. Metadirtson says, the issue with the O3 is that I decided to use it, and it therefore automatically became the wrong thing. That is how the universe works. I mean, it's not like you won't be able to sell it for damn near what you bought it for, especially because they're out of stock everywhere. Freeloader says, so put the 3 gram nano flywoo on the tiny lifter with the 16 gram thumb pro. Yeah, you know, and that's another, like, so here the O3 air unit only really makes sense to me if it's going to be both FPV and HD. I have no idea why anybody is. Well, I do, but
it'd be perfect for the cycle.
I don't really the what?
The cycling things that you do.
Yes. So for like live stream chasing and stuff like that, I totally get it. There are some uses for it for sure, but for freestyle FPV with an onboard GoPro, it doesn't make any sense to me. Other than range, the range is fantastic. I think we can all agree that it has the best range, but like, how often are you really pushing range that much? Like a Walksnail setup on 1 watt is going to go really far, and it's going to be a way better FPV camera. So, and it's going to cost $100 less, more than $100 less. So, I don't know. Just have 18 different sets of goggles and 18 different.
We all do.
That's really what kills me, right? Is like.
Yeah, but remember we were all like feasting on the orcas, like oh, and then all of a sudden they launched, and then the whole world of digital just exploded. And thank God they got their government contract, because otherwise we'd have been like, sorry, I think Bot Grinder still flies them, right?
Yeah, a couple of people do.
But we had nothing, and now we have too much.
Nothing. Yep, we went from, and it happened right in between rampages. Like one rampage we had nothing. The next rampage, we had everything.
Jeez.
And it sucks having everything. I don't have the answers. My closest answer is Walksnail is the best of
Sure
all.
Was impressive.
1080 looks great. 60 frames is awesome. As an FPV camera, I don't think there's anything better. The latency is under control.
It's lightweight.
Yeah. Kevin Sumner says, bot move to HD0 goggles. You're right. He is on HD now. Or HD0 now, rather. So yeah, it's a tough one. I need to add scene.
Trying to make them dangerous.
it
does work. Keeps it off its side.
Yeah.
See?
So this frame here, the WeBleed crown frame, is a collaboration between WeBleed and Fractal. So the Fractal frame, right? It doesn't have this canopy. So when the Fractal build flips upside down, it's like that. And so the propellers are really close to the carpet.
I see.
So those little crowns, the little spikes, will keep a Fractal frame up off the ground a little bit. A Fractal build up off the ground a little bit.
Give me the pliers. We got to cut some weight.
Hold on. Let me add I need this scene to be on here, and then I need it to be guest, and then the scene needs to be guest, and just like that, I can swap. Hey, there we go.
Buttons.
Slide in a little bit. Move that
Buttons.
big gangly chair in a little bit.
Look at these
it's,
guys.
it's full tilt news time.
What are these? What are these
that?
for?
I put it up there. I have a 75mm Walksnail build. The 75mm Walksnail build blew up. The Neutron RC AIO that we put in there, that I had really high hopes for. One of the ESC channels, I think one of the MOSFETs let go. You could argue that that has nothing to do with Neutron, and that has everything to do with the MOSFET manufacturers. You'd probably be right, but kind of annoying because the other Walksnail Whoop is on the Beta FPV board and it works totally fine. So, I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt. Newbie Drone is going to hook me up, though, because I bought the Neutron board from them. So, there's that. All right. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on making an O3 air unit naked. If you've got the budget to do that and not care about ruining a $260 VTX and camera, amazing.
Send us the video.
Yeah, and like enjoy your 4K incredibly lightweight setup. I'm jealous as hell of that. I will be doing somewhat lightweight builds with my O3 air unit in the full case with proper cooling. So yeah, there's that. Also keep in mind, as you take its cooling ability away, it's not going to ramp up in power, so you're going to literally lose power. So yeah, there's that. Maybe it's going to have enough airflow to keep itself cool, but maybe not. Where the hell did Discord go? There's Discord. Moving on. FreeLojo says, anybody hear about the lithium deposit in Nevada? Just that, no story, but he just mentioned a lithium deposit in Nevada. That's interesting.
Sure. Tesla built a factory over that.
Did they?
No, I'm just saying
Okay.
they're probably doing it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Hockey Rounds dropping the YouTube link to FlowState, which is absolutely insane. I mentioned this last week, but yeah, FlowState is on YouTube. I think they're going to play ads, but maybe every 20 minutes, so maybe it won't be a complete nightmare. Maybe it will. Let us know. Don't let us know. Any thoughts on FlowState? How did you like FlowState, Patrick?
What do you know about ads on YouTube, Aaron?
How did you like FlowState?
FlowState was
the FPV documentary that I have a tiny little part in.
Well,
was it good?
You're not that gangly guy on the front cover there?
Did you enjoy
You're not
it?
that guy right there?
This motherfucker hasn't seen it.
Look at the mustache on that guy there.
Seen it.
You got a little gangly mustache. He's got the little mustache.
How have you not? Do you want to borrow the Blu-ray?
Well, no, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, but you won't watch it because there's ads. Well, no,
All
you
right,
have ads.
let's take a poll.
Well,
who's got a Blu-ray player?
Everybody with a PlayStation.
You want
or
to
an
borrow the
Xbox.
VHS? Sure you don't want a beer?
Low blow. Oh shit! I'm not gonna read that out loud and start shit, but that's absolutely hysterical. Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, my bad.
Who? Somebody make him feel better in the chat, and if you haven't seen it, say that you haven't seen it, and that'll make him feel better.
I think. Can you do a poll? How many people have seen it? How many people have not seen
that's
it?
the
Be
move.
honest.
That's the move.
Be honest.
That's the move. That's how to really make him feel better. Have you seen FlowState? Yes. No. Of fucking course.
Of course not.
I have. I'm into FPV.
Oh, please,
Alright.
Lord Jesus. Can't.
Too many characters.
Yes. Yes.
Leave it short.
No, Steel's on the cover. Can we put a fourth option? Can we put a fourth option that your brother's on the cover so I'm not going to watch it?
Don't you dare.
Why do the yeses get two options and the nos get one?
It's rigged.
Who
It's rigged
wants
as
to
fuck.
be like everybody else? You know, I
CMI
want to be the cool one that picks the cool option.
CMYK says once in person, once on DVD, once on YouTube. There it is. There it is. FreeLojo hasn't finished it yet. Close enough.
Well, who would? I'm just kidding.
Iric Grepboy Toft rather says I saw it with you in Atlanta. Yeah, we had an awesome little get together.
That's the way to watch it. Yeah, you guys
saw it
killed
in the
it.
theater. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Although the version that we saw on that day is completely different than the Blu-ray and YouTube version.
In a worser way? Shorter? Cut?
You know, that's a great question.
Isn't it? They cut your part.
I thought they were gonna. I thought for sure they would. I was like, when I watched the 2-hour movie version. Well,
if you gave
wait a
Dylan
second. No.
videos.
In Atlanta, that was the 2-hour version. At Rampage, the very first time it was played at Rampage, that's the only chance that anybody had to see the 3-hour episodic version that was supposed to get to Netflix. So, no, in Atlanta was the 2-hour version. The 3-hour version was a lot. The 3-hour version was too much to sit through in one hit, but broken up into 3 segments on Netflix, it would have been perfect. Like sitting down watching an hour,
and make you wait a week.
Another hour watching. Yeah, right. That would have been perfect. So, but I don't know, man. Like, yeah, it was better because it's FPV and it's more flight footage and it's just more stuff in the 3-hour version. But yeah, only people at Rampage 2 years ago got to see that 3-hour version, and most of us didn't see the end of it because it was balls ass cold. And like once I saw myself, I was like, cool, I'm out.
What's the results?
So yeah,
what do we got?
Poll results. Here we go. Oh my God, nobody's. Oh no.
Well,
okay,
you have 2
nobody.
answers.
Yeah, so 66% have seen it. 33% of you have not seen it though. So all right. But there were only 3 votes, so that explains. No, there were 31 votes.
If there was a fourth, it would have been 25.
It would have been
25.
evenly split.
25.
That's it. Yeah, 3 hours is a bit much, CMYK says. All right, cool. So, yeah, you can see FlowState for free on YouTube. Go check it out. It's really well done. James Christensen did an amazing job on the editing, on the filming. It is a little dated because a big chunk of it is surrounding the fight that we had. Well, analog for sure. But, like, the fight that we had with the FAA long before the fight with remote ID. So, but I don't know. That's a slice of FPV history that's important. You know, it didn't accomplish anything. Like we lost or whatever. But I'm sure it didn't make the situation worse. Us going and showing them
really
that,
neat
like,
flying
hey,
on the way up there.
Yeah, we all got to fly a bunch of stuff. We all got together,
we broke
froze
the
our
laws
asses
that they
off.
were trying to change, you know.
Yeah, you know, at least
it was already illegal. I mean,
at least we didn't put 100 quads in the air in Washington D.C. and say "fuck you" and have them be like, "Oh, really?
Which
okay,
we could
it's all the way
apparently.
illegal."
We could have.
We had the technology, but yeah, it's very well done. You should all go see it.
We're gonna do exactly what we're gonna do anyway.
It's true. It's true.
Now we're really gonna do it.
The thing that still seems to have on DVD. What is this? Discord app attachments. What's going on here? Okay, didn't work. Denzel the Turbo posted a link that's not working. Freelojo is gonna get it on DVD. Kevin Sumner.
Me too, bro.
Cadix testing what is expected to be new Walksnail goggles.
Yes.
On their Facebook page.
I saw this dealio. When was this posted? This is posted a minute ago, though. I saw something on this. Oh no, that's when Twitter rebranded to X. No, I'm just kidding. No, I did see something on this. There's something more to this.
It does look like a set of goggles. So, I guess it's going to be Walksnail Goggles V2. Something's brewing. Analog. These comments are all going to be garbage because they're on Facebook. But just out of curiosity.
I saw something on this.
I don't know why they would do that. What's wrong with the existing Walksnail goggles? They don't have red lights in the front. I mean, yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, if these lights don't cycle left and right like Kit, I'm not buying them. Yeah, I don't know. Has anybody heard anything since then? Also, in a post on the Cadix page. Let's see what's here.
I definitely saw this picture. I thought it was
the same.
Yeah, like they
the same thing.
Put analog thing in it. I don't know.
Oh,
It
that
was, it
would
was
be
something.
hot.
I just don't want to say that it was.
That would be great.
Damn it, why don't I remember it was relevant?
Yeah, there being a semi-decent analog module, I mean...
Just to have and not be all...
Yeah, I mean, perfect world if it has a half-decent analog module and it has DVR with de-interlacing. That'd be the end. Freeloader says probably the partnership with Fat Shark. If it has anything to do with Fat Shark, it'll probably have the worst DVR ever in it.
Oh Jesus! By the same one, can you imagine? If I was ever part of that company, I would make the first time you use the DVR that way, and then after that it would be better. But the first time would just be like, "You sons of bitches," so that everyone could get that moment of no power button, DVR, that whole thing, just one more time. Because for you who don't know, it matters. It matters. We were beholden to these people.
Yeah. And I mean, wow. Have you lost a rig and then you go to look at the DVR and it didn't record it?
I don't even look.
You know,
I don't even look.
Exactly. You don't even bother because you know it's not going to be there. Yeah.
Light flashing that you can't even see. It's flashing like it's corrupt. Well, you don't fucking say. You don't say.
Here. I'll say this.
If
out
GoPro
loud.
didn't say it enough. You want to see a corrupt file? Put it in your Fat Sharks. Jesus.
I will say this out loud. If Walksnail comes out with a set of goggles that fit round-eyed faces, have a good DVR and a good analog module, that's the end. That will, as far as I'm concerned, that will destroy HD0. Probably not, because HD0 still works for racers, but for anybody doing anything freestyle like that, no more HD0. Like, you're just...
And you could tune two different things. You could have two of the four systems.
Yep.
That could be enough to put them over the... I don't know. DJI is going to be a thing regardless.
Well, DJI will never do that, right? DJI will never put analog. Will never support analog in any way. No. And quite honestly, the 03 Air Unit camera is so bad as an FPV camera. It's not actually that bad, but just stay with me here. That, yeah, like a Walksnail goggle with analog wins. Knox says HD0 gives you 3 of the 4 systems already. I don't know where 3 of the 4 comes from, but it definitely gives you 2, right? It gives you the option to put an analog module on the side. I hate that it puts the analog module 90 degrees off on the side. I think that's insane. But, yes, it does give you the ability to do Knox sells Walksnail as well. I guess technically, yeah, you can run the Walksnail module on the front. That setup, I hate. It just makes all goggles too front heavy, and you wouldn't really want to fly with them for any actual period of time. But that's just me. So, yeah. Super interesting.
Well, I like the red lights, so.
I like the red lights, too.
See what happens with those.
And they say here, new in October, all in one. Well, god damn it, we're in October. Where the hell is it?
V2.
All in one. They say all in one. What else could that mean? Oh my god. Could it mean that it also works on old Vistas?
No. Wait, Caddx. Oh, wait.
Right?
That was.
That would be it. That
Stop. Stop it now. We're making things up. This is like Fox News. CNN or some shit. Making stuff up for entertainment purposes to get ratings.
For anybody that still has Vistas, like for somebody new that just died and only buys HD0 stuff, okay, maybe it's not the end. But I think a lot of us have rigs with Vistas, have rigs with Walksnail, have right.
Yeah, Vistas don't die, so yeah, we do.
Right. Anybody who's ever bought a Vista still has it because they're invincible.
We stocked up that time during COVID.
That would be nuts if it has, it probably doesn't have analog. What they're probably saying is that it works with old Vistas and it works with Walksnail. That's still a damn good deal. It would be great to get rid of DJI goggles Although I'm sure there'll be some bullshit where like it doesn't have it won't talk to the smart controller or something like that, because there's no way I'll be able to get rid of a set of goggles.
No.
But yeah, if it works with old Vistas and analog and Walksnail, that's insane. And has HDMI inputs.
Oh.
Because then you'd be able to run HD0, but don't get the external module thing. That's insane. GRN1Z posts that Zipline has been granted unmanned aerial systems beyond visual line of sight delivery, which is a good thing, I think, because that means that maybe the FAA is loosening up on BVLOS, beyond visual line of sight.
For corporations.
Right. Zipline 5x CNBC, Disruptor 50 company. Yeah, Zipline's a really cool company. They're doing really amazing shit over in, I believe it's Africa, delivering medical supplies. And now they're looking to break into the U.S. with
where
these
regulations are just a little looser.
Yeah, right, for real. They're looking into doing
America.
Fat white cheeseburger eating people deliveries of food and Amazon supplies, with really cool rigs that are like part airplane, part quad. Not really. They're more.
Wing apparatus.
What is it? What's the Osprey called? The Osprey called?
I just went Harrier, and that's not right.
It's called the same thing. What's the name for the Harrier and the Osprey? Osprey. Osprey.
There's some people over here that'll.
God damn it! What's it called when they vector the thrust to take tilt rotor? Is what the Osprey is called. VTOL. That's it. Thank you, Grep Boy. Yeah, it's more of like a VTOL. I think it's like a VTOL where it'll take off vertically and it can hover, but then it has mega efficiency because it has an actual wing, and the setup is that it gets to where you are, it goes into hover mode, and it drops a little canister down with your stuff in it, and the little canister has its own little fan to guide itself.
And it looks familiar to the people, they don't see a drone, they see a plane.
Yeah, right? It doesn't look like a death machine.
Oh, that's okay.
As much, I guess.
That's okay.
It's white and red, But, so, yeah, could be cool. With a flurry of FAA approvals, more drones are about to fly over U.S. skies. I don't know. I guess this could actually hurt us, because the FAA could say, well, hey, we need all the airspace, right? Get the hell out of the airspace. We don't want with your unregistered guerrilla drones. But at the same time, I still don't think that they're going to be able to police.
Sounds like a fun thing to do, actually. Just turn on my frickin' VTX every time they fly around. Bye-bye.
Don't you dare. Don't be a part of the problem, Patrick.
There goes the pizza.
What do you got for us, McShaky FPV? Remote ID drone event. What? It's a YouTube link, so I can't really do much of anything with it, but yeah, it's a YouTube interview that neither one of us have watched. Telling
us why we've...
There are chapter points, and I can show you the chapter points without getting dinged. Drone not listed on a DOC, grandfathered drones, building your own drone. This is probably a good watch for
that's a
anybody
good place for
remote ID.
Bardwell did a lot of this stuff. His recent one that he came out with, where are you really going to do it? Because he knows he's dealing with rebels, and he knows he's dealing with paid pilots, and there's a big difference between the two. The fact is, the paid pilot's going to have to deal with all this crap. At the end of the day, the hobbyist, you know what? Finger to the wind, both of them.
Yeah.
Until you're the example, and then I won't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, until somebody makes the example, and then I'll be like,
catch us all.
That's right. Somebody's getting dinged.
But yeah, this actually looks like a really good video to watch. Remote ID range, FAA policy on enforcement. This is really interesting here.
Yeah, I wonder, that should be shorter than 32 minutes. Oh, okay, at 35. Yeah, that's a 30-second clip. There are no regulations. There are no way to enforce these laws. Right. We don't even know what the laws are, but you're wrong.
But you need to pay attention to them. Free approval status, FAA ramp check. I don't know what that means. Moving modules between drones, that's super interesting. Part 107, recreational flying over people. This is...
Because they don't want to financially impact you.
Yeah, this is awesome. So this has FAA drone guy, Kevin Morris, Pilot Institute, Greg R., and Keith from Alien Drones. Okay.
Everything. They know everything.
So, yeah, this is probably a really good watch. I'm not going to watch it because I don't know. I just don't care.
Paid pilot over here, by the
it.
way.
That ain't it at all. I don't know. That's probably a... the Brandon McBean says the FAA guy seems incredibly lame. Not surprising at all. Here's a story that we need to talk about. Chris Rosser has put out the Supernova, which makes not quite, but almost 2,000 grams of thrust per motor, per 2207. So you can have an 8,000 gram of thrust 5-inch rig with this motor. I highly recommend that you guys watch both Chris's video on it, which CMYK linked here. But really, you should watch Joshua's video, where he interviews Chris, and they dive a little bit deeper than Chris's video. Chris's video is a product review, basically. But in Joshua's video, Joshua asks him all the really hard questions. To me, the most interesting part of Joshua's interview with him is when Joshua asks him about durability, and Chris kind of skirts the issue a little bit. He talks about it, obviously, well, not obviously, but he doesn't say like, hey, it's going to be less durable. And it's, as Pedro Tomei says in the chat, Pedro says it's not a 2207, right? It's labeled a 2207, I think, and it's 2207-ish, but it's not actually a 2207. Maybe it's a 2207.2 or
it looks pretty tall.
22.207 or something like that. It does look pretty tall.
I mean, his head's right next to it. I can't tell.
But when the durability issue came up, they talked very briefly about air gap. Air gap is the distance between the magnets in the bell and the outside of the stator that doesn't move. And the air gap is really important from a durability standpoint. The tighter the air gap, the less durable the motor. Full stop. You crash somewhere unrecoverable, if there's a really tight air gap and you bang the motor on something and the magnets push up against the stator, that rig ain't coming down. It is up there forever. You can argue that if you're flying in recoverable spots, once you bang the motor hard enough to lock it up like that, the motor is ruined anyway. You shouldn't fly a motor with a bell that's bent because it's going to make jello and the tune's going to go to hell and all these things. But if you're up above a rooftop and you crash and that motor locks up because it had a really tight air gap, that sucks. So yeah, air gap is a big deal. And what Chris did not say is, yes, my motor has the same air gap as a bunch of other motors. So it's going to be just as durable as T-Motor, Axis Power, or other RC and power motors. And that...
Kiss motors.
That creeps me out from a freestyle standpoint. From a cinematic standpoint, not... see, it's hard.
On a 2207 cinematic?
It's difficult because, yeah, I mean, dude, with 8,000 grams of thrust, you can probably pick up a Black Magic, right?
Who needs 8 motors?
Yeah, right? But with cinematic stuff, the footage on the camera is even more important. And if you lose that footage, it's even a bigger deal. In theory, with cinematic stuff, you're maybe flying in places where there is no unrecoverable, where everything is recoverable because there's money behind the production. So it's tough. The air gap thing is terrifying, but the motor performs extremely well. It outperforms every other motor on both power and efficiency. It's more efficient than everything and more powerful.
It's a Tesla motor.
That's one of the reasons that I think the air gap is like paper thin.
Yeah.
Because,
don't hit it. Don't hit it. There's always a give somewhere. Everybody knows.
Yep. Great video though. Watch it. Chris talks about how he. So one of the biggest advancements in this motor is that Chris seems to have figured out the perfect thickness of magnet and the perfect thickness of flux ring outside the magnet. And that's a big deal. And I it sounds like that's where the majority of the power and the efficiency came from. So what I really wish is that he would make a motor for freestyle with a nice fat air gap, but all of the other improvements that he's made. Whether or not he does that, who knows? Because for him to do that kind of admits that this one is fragile in a way.
Square magnets, right? No curvatures.
I think they are curved magnets. I think pretty much everybody on the 5-inch motors has gone to curved magnets. But yeah, so what they talk about is that like just continuing to make the magnets thicker and thicker and thicker is not really the answer. The answer is the correct thickness of magnet and then a thicker flux ring on the outside of the magnets than anybody has ever done before. The flux ring outside the magnets basically tries to keep that magnetism in. Chris says if you take your screwdriver and you take your motor, if your screwdriver like slams to the motor when you get it close, that means that there's too much magnetism being lost on the outside of the motor and that motor should have a thicker flux ring. I would love to get some of these motors and try that test. Take like a couple of different motors and see how violent the screwdriver sticks to it. Bless you.
Excuse me.
And then try it on the Supernova, which is what he's named his motor. So yeah, super interesting. He wrote a program to test like I think he says like 20,000 different iterations of the specs of the motor, and that program figured out the best mix of all the things. And then he ordered the motors and tested them on his thrust stand, and they performed shockingly well. So, but yeah, watch the video. You'll learn a lot about motors, and
that's going to happen more
stuff.
and more. What you just said right there, that's going to happen more. Artificial intelligence and the way that machines can build.
Right.
Hey, this is what I want you to do. Go tell me how to make this happen.
Yep.
And then there you go. Do this. This is what it needs to look like. Well, that's not what it looked like before, but you wanted these properties.
Yeah.
Okay, well then do this.
Yeah.
And then that's what it spits out.
That's the non-terrifying side of AI, I guess.
Yeah, when it comes to creation, right? They can create.
Yep. CMYK commenting, great video. Indeed it is. Yeah, give this a watch. Don't give this one a watch. Well, maybe give this one a watch. Definitely give Joshua's version of this a watch.
Give him a click and then give it.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly it right there. Freelojo says possibly a new contender. I think this is the AIO that he mentioned earlier. Let's take a look.
400er.
So 1 to 2S, love that. There aren't many 1 to 2S AIOs. 12 amp MOSFETs, that's great. 400 milliwatts, it's probably not going to actually run at 400, but whatever. That's YOLO mode. It just puts as much power as possible. Built-in ELRS, awesome. Why is it 5-in-1? Why is it called a 5-in-1?
$100.
Is it
Yes,
really?
sir.
Oh, boy. That's a lot of dollars.
I remember.
That's a lot of dollars for a tiny whoop. It looks like it might not have motor plugs, which is absolutely infuriating. So it does not. I mean, this is just a render drawing. So maybe the final version will have motor plugs. I bet you it doesn't, though, because the motor plug holes would need to be right here. And they've got these pads in the way. They've got all kinds of pads in the way. Ooh, that's a Bluetooth antenna. So it'll work with... oh,
yeah, the Dilio.
Son of a bitch, what's it called?
The B-drum, or... fuck.
Every single person other than the two of us
my phone right now.
Knows what it's called. But yeah, that's cool. I like that. Speedy B, that's it. Good call. Yeah, they've got pads all over. So you're going to have to direct solder the motors, which is super annoying. I don't know. The ultimate freestyle build in a Meteor 65 frame is hysterically durable. As we start to go to these lighter weight frames, we might see that change. So needing to change motors might become more of an issue. But if you do the regular OG Meteor 65 framed Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop build, you will not have to change motors very often. So needing to solder the motors becomes way less of a nightmare.
That's Ciotti saying. That's Aaron Ciotti saying you don't have to replace motors. I'll never have to replace the motors.
I don't know if I've had to replace a motor on the Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop builds.
Dang.
On the ones that have been on carbon fiber frames, for sure I have. But on the ones with the specific combo that we figured out, we might be okay. I mean, those are the main things. Whether or not it works
black box on
is the
board.
biggest question. Oh my God, does it really? It has black box on board.
8 megabytes.
You're gonna pay a lot, but you're gonna get a lot. Oh, I don't like that it has the 40.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah.
688 gyro. That being said, I have one of these builds that has this gyro and it's totally fine. So, not my favorite, but not a deal breaker.
Got LED support.
Oh my God, it's got 6 UARTs. What the hell?
1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
Good lord. Oh, okay. It's got 5 UARTs.
Express LNS on board.
Could be great. Little
One
expensive.
shot.
Little
D-Shot
heavy.
600
Of course, it's heavy though. It's set up for 2S.
with antenna. Yeah, you get your extra.
Beal Heli S, of course. Okay. Yeah, could be really good. With Tiny Whoop AIOs, the specs don't really matter all that much. Buying one and building it and seeing if it actually flies is kind of it. Like,
Do it. Somebody do it.
a lot of them don't. A lot of them just don't work. So that'll be the biggest test with this. As long as it flies and as long as the gyro is not a hot mess and there's not all kinds of electrical noise, this could be the best of the Tiny Whoop AIOs. Specs are there. Expensive.
No reviews yet. You could be the first.
Cheapest possible build with this is going to be like $160, $170. That's a little expensive for a Tiny Whoop, but a tiny lifter this might be great for a tiny lifter, and that's, you know, a cinematic rig, and those are always more expensive. So I don't know. Could be good. Great that it exists. I love that someone else is making an AIO. Hockey Round says $99 will keep me away. Yeah, I feel that.
What if it works?
Red HLG says this. Oh, shark chasing a laser pointer. I can't really show this.
Let me get past these ads real quick.
Especially because it's filled with ads.
Here we are.
I can watch this and give you.
Okay, so there's a
reaction to
shark, and he is
Here, I'm
meandering through the water. You might believe he's looking for something.
Link is in the chat. You guys can watch it at the same time. He says, while I typically use the drone to film sharks without interfering, this video is a little different. In order to film the sharks without interrupting their natural movements, I must know where the boundary is. What's he mean by that?
My kids love
oh,
sharks.
okay. At what point do they notice the drone? Oh, so he is going to put a drone up. Cool.
What? Oh.
So
Everyone get out your
right.
links and click
drone
your
footage
links.
of a shark.
Follow along.
I can show you like tiny little pieces
Whoa.
of it.
Almost, I felt the strike there. It was kind of a knock at your door just a minute ago.
So how does the laser? Is he going to laser point from the boat, I guess, or does he have a laser pointer on the drone?
He's got to have it on the drone.
So it's a Mavic. We can see the shadow of it.
When someone says drone, they mean Mavic. Yes.
Oh man, he's getting in there.
He's
getting
just zoomed.
close to
He's
that
just
shark.
zoomed in. Come on now. Oh wow! Look at that.
This is pretty cool.
The shark is now protruding through the top of the water.
Shark swimming. Where's the laser pointer at?
Yeah, there's the Mavic.
There's the Mavic reflection, or shadow rather. I wonder if he's already doing the laser pointer thing.
I gotta tell you, this better get a lot better.
I'm skipping forward. I don't see. Show me the laser pointer.
Show me the laser pointer.
Show it. Man, he is low. He is low to the water.
You certainly got him
What is that thing?
interested. Is this the laser pointer here? I guess that's what this is.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
He's not going for it though.
doesn't smell like blood. I don't think.
Oh, large great white shark chases drone shadow
I
like a laser pointer.
See.
Got it.
Man, all caught up now.
Got it. We got there.
I think the shark's just swimming.
Took us a couple minutes.
Well, maybe now here.
Swimming around, you know. It's drone footage of a shark. That's pretty fucking cool. Check it out. I'm going to play this on the big TV with the volume turned up. There's probably a great soundtrack to it.
Yeah.
Low on that shark, yo. Low. That's pretty cool.
There you go.
That's very cool. Ren's reaction to that is all I could think of during the second shark footage was it thinking, it's on me, get it off.
Yeah.
The shadow is
The
on
shadow,
the
yes.
shark. CMYK with a video that says, "This is wild. How to fly FPV with transparent AR augmented reality glasses."
This.
That's cool.
This. Forget your goggles.
I'm a big
Forget
fan
this.
of AR.
Yeah,
I
the
think
new
AR
Apple
is the
thing that's
future.
coming out. Like, I'm not gonna spend the money on it, but I'm gonna spend that money on it, and I'll be here with it on day whatever. It's gotta be stupid.
I mean, the flying in this
Oh, it's
video is
perfect.
just gonna be flying. It's like
It's perfect. It was perfect.
he's flying
He was
around.
flying around perfectly. He's right. Augmented reality.
Um,
Perfect. No latency.
he's talking
Perfect picture.
about overview,
His pilot skills were off the look. What's he
printed
doing
case
now?
disassembly. I guess he's showing how to. Okay, he's building a box to do it.
I admire the. Oh wow.
Wow, he's getting down and dirty with this, yo. He really shows you how to do this. Okay, damn.
Look at that.
That's pretty slick, man. That's
So you're seeing through. Are you?
wonder what he used.
Are you
Does
seeing
he have like a parts list or anything? Hold on, let's see.
They must have put the lenses inside that. We got it.
Okay, so he's using X-Real Air AR goggles.
Glasses.
Glasses.
They're only $600, kids.
Wow. Okay. Then there's that. But that is
Makes that naked air unit seem a little more expensive, doesn't it? Or less expensive.
that is very cool. That would make
just throw on some glasses.
flying like
But if you could see through at the same time,
that's what I'm saying,
if
right?
you could ignore
Like,
the
that'd be
things
so
you want to ignore,
safe.
if somebody walks up on you,
Yep.
you're like, excuse
Yep.
me.
That would be so much safer.
That's interesting.
The women that fly FPV have one thing in common from what the conversations I've had with them is that they refuse to fly sketchy spots because they're afraid of getting like killed.
Or killing.
So something like this
Yeah.
it really helps with that. And like, you know, every once in a while when I'm in the goggles and like I hear something weird, it's kind of like, should I land? So it matters for all of us. But AR is still horrendously expensive, so I think it's got a ways to go. But that is very, very cool. Link is in the news channel. Check. Well, here, link is in the.
It's coming somehow, some way. Those two technologies come together. It's going to be a fantastic time.
Yeah.
Throw some glasses on.
There it is in chat. There's the link.
Stop it.
Kevin Sumner. I'm behind on chat. Hold on. Kevin. Nope. Yeah, Kevin Sumner says, Xjet's most recent video builds an excellent case about remote ID being for corporations squeezing out hobbyists. I agree.
God bless Xjet.
I agree. 100%.
Mr. New Zealand over here fighting for more Americans than Americans.
It's felt, all of the FAA regulations have felt like that for a long time. Since we fucking marched on Washington. It's you know, that was a constant conversation of like, you know, what the hell? Amazon's ruining this for all of us. Like, so, I don't know. Don't support Amazon, I guess. Expander says, we got that. It's not a 2207. It weighs what a 2207 weighs. Kevin Sumner says, with the ICM4266 Gyro, you have to trust that the board maker didn't screw up the power. That's exactly it. The 4266-688 Gyro is not a bad gyro per se. It just cannot have a noisy electrical system. Electrical noise, it is very sensitive to electrical noise. So, yeah. Brandon McBean says, technically after 4.4.1, they got it all pretty good. All gyros are pretty good now. That's really good to hear. If anybody would know, it would be Brandon. Scrutty Curtis says, read the title of the video, LOL. I think he's talking about the shark video. Metal Dirtskin posted a news post. Those of you who race or run races might be interested in this. Plugin for RotorHazerd. I can show this without getting donked. This is a plugin developed for the RotorHazerd timing system. It allows the ability to pull and push data through the multi-GP API to assist with event management. Very cool. Pretty niche, but for people that are putting on races, this is probably a big deal. Requirements, you got to have an internet connection. That's interesting. Oh, no, here you go. No, internet connection not required for running the event, unless automatic.
Well, if you got remote ID, you got to have an internet connection. I don't care where you are.
So true. This looks cool. Anybody looking to put on a race, check this out. Most people aren't, but here we go. Ton of other stuff coming in RotorHazerd 4, currently in beta, like integration with ELRS backpack, potentially allowing you to start heats by flipping a transmitter switch. That's cool. But in short, that plugin will let you push the result. Here we go. Push the results of your race automatically from inside RotorHazerd without having to do it by hand. Pretty slick. Awesome. Very cool stuff. CMYK contributes news and wieners. And then something to discuss, not fun but important to protect the spectrum that we operate on. Getting a ham license, do we all have that? LOL. If we don't have new ham registrations as older hams pass on the argument for
commoditization,
opens the door for corporate commoditization. There it is. Of the spectrum we do have public access to today. Thoughts?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, every single one of us should have a ham license, but not a single one of us do. Anybody know how hard it is to get? Is it like a nasty test?
Isn't a lot of the stuff on the whatever
Part
one?
107?
Part 107, yeah.
Maybe.
I thought that.
CMYK says real, as in real hard to get. That would not surprise me.
Yeah, boy.
It's probably not hard for radio nerds. There we go. Not crazy hard, but it's proctored, I believe. Oh, interesting.
They would do that.
Rockcrawler has his. Wow, look at you. Okay.
Is it a 2-year thing?
Somebody in here is legal. Yeah, how long? How long does it last?
It's got to be a decade.
Oh, boy. Northern Tier says that you have to learn Morse code. Although, stars...
SOS. How many movies? SOS.
It's true. Beep, 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 long,
but if
long,
you saw
beep,
click,
beep,
click, 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 click,
Yeah.
click, 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 you'd be like, dude, that's some clicking that I need to help.
Stars Stripes Jacket says, it's easy. I studied for a day and took the test with 90%. That was what I did with the Part 107 test. I studied for one day. So that's cool. I guess you don't have to learn a lot of Morse code, because I don't think you can learn all of Morse code in a day.
Dot.
Stars and Stripes says there are study guides with the exact questions on the test. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's what makes the Part 107 kind of easy. There's a bunch of test guides out there. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, man. There are, between the FPV Freedom Coalition and Joshua Bardwell and Xjet and a couple other people, I hate to be so lazy about this, but we can just kind of wait for those guys to cover this shit and tell us what to do and then just do it. Rockcrawler says 10 years. It's good for 10 years. That's
support,
awesome.
a decade. We support, and that's the best we can do. We do support these people. We went to Washington.
We did.
We support these people. We talk about these things. We
did.
It is a hands tied type of situation, and I think us being the little guy in a very, very small niche know how small we really are.
Yeah.
What the lawsuits and stuff that the Florida guy was doing? What did he? He didn't come up with anything, right? The Corvette guy that rubbed his rim. Sorry.
Oh.
Why do I
Tyler.
forget his name? Tyler. Yeah.
Tyler.
I think theirs fell flat on their. I mean, they went at it. They spent
said
whatever
that they
little
did
money
not
they
win.
had.
Yeah.
And then somebody had to hire an attorney, and then they did it. RDQ.
RDQ.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah,
they were flat.
that's impossible. We'll see. I don't know. That's interesting, Steven. RDQ had zero success. CMYK says. That's pretty much the end of the news, my friends. Unless you guys have something in the chat that you want us to talk about. It's 8:36. You got 24 minutes until Block Grinder starts. That's probably just about enough time to beat up on this Crown framed 65mm rig.
I want to see how well it does in Turtle. That's what I want to see.
You want to switch seats and you can man the chat and I'll bounce this thing off the effing walls? Hiya! You don't have to, though. You don't have to be in the hot seat right in front of the camera.
I don't mind.
All right, fair enough. What do I need? Goggles? Got goggles. What do I need? A transmitter?
The warm chair.
Got a transmitter. I gotta switch.
It's actually a cool chair. How'd that happen? He is gangly.
Can you pass me that ELRS module over there?
Yeah, I don't even know what that looks like. Is that
Oh,
this?
yeah, you do. It was the first thing you grabbed, you lying bastard.
I'm sorry. This is cute.
Isn't it? That'll be the outro flying.
Look at that. Look at that little unit in there. So beautiful.
Yeah, imagine it with an AIO, too. It would just be the cleanest, simplest build ever.
That would be so light.
But then it would catch on fire every 14 seconds.
We don't want that.
We don't, or do we?
Again. Did you twist one off here?
Dude.
Yeah, you did.
That broke off when I was tightening the top screw. I was tightening the top screw. It started spinning the standoff, and then it ripped the head right off of there.
Right in your eyeballs.
That was not fun. That happened on a bench. That happened during a live stream. I was like, what?
It's fine.
Yeah, here.
It's fine.
I noticed this on the desk. And I was like,
beautiful. Oh, wow. Right at the bottom of the head.
The
Look at that. Twisted it right
shit.
off. Yeah, that's where it would go. Cheap bastards. I love the purple.
Saving it. I know, right?
Look at that.
Yeah, that's the Minmo.
No, I can't see it. No,
Go
there
off
we
to
go.
the side a little bit.
There
Yeah,
we
you got a
go.
little strip. Cool.
I can't really see.
WeBleed FPV crown prototype frame
Chat. Where are you at?
about to be just utterly abused for the good of science.
Hey, Ciotti, what receiver do you use to get analog video on your stream? Those ones you plug into the USB?
eSheen ROTG something or other. If you go to Amazon and you just search for video receiver USB, you'll find it. There's a couple different ones. They're like $20-something. They're really cheap. And they'll also interface with Android phones, which is pretty cool. All right, let's see how this frame does. We're gonna go we're just gonna go. Okay.
Oh my lord!
Motors are not spinning the right direction.
Or it was upside down.
Or it was upside down.
Can you not
It's
just
not
push a
upside
button
down.
anymore?
There is a black cord over there. Can you grab that one and plug this effer in? And then
I don't
plug
do
a
well at
battery into it.
directions, but you're doing very well.
All right. This is how
You sure you don't want me to plug the battery in first? And
get
then...
your motors spinning the right direction. I
God, do you remember what it
think
used to
matters.
take?
Oh God. Here it is in new versions of Betaflight. Motor direction. I understand the risks. Your fingers
Done.
are clear. Start and spin. One of them's hitting on the duct. That'll clear itself up. Motor 1's right. Motor 2 is wrong. Motor 3 is right. Motor 4 is wrong. I don't think I've ever
weird.
had 2 and 4 be wrong.
No, it's usually one in
That's interesting.
cross options. Yeah.
So now we're good. Although let's just check it.
Okay.
All thrust. Yep. Cool.
It wants to go.
All is now right with the world. The crown shall be beaten. For real this time. We'll see how it holds up.
Squid stick.
Oh yeah, I still need to use that. That's a ELRS USB module for the computer so you can sim wirelessly. I was going to do that on this last Sunday, but I did something else instead. Here we go!
Here he goes. Here he goes.
Oh, God! Okay. Okay.
I think I'm going to do facial expressions to your motor sounds. I think that's what I'll entertain everyone with. Side screen, facial expressions to your motor sounds.
For real this time. So there is... Ah! So there is a propeller
This is working out great, by the way.
that's slightly hitting on one of the ducts. To fix that, and you can see it by that little bit of jello that there is. To fix that, go into turtle mode, and then
Floor it.
just spin up each... Oh, throttle wasn't all the way down. Spin up each motor individually. Ow!
Oh, that was...
Fucking hands.
You saw it here, children.
Tiny whoops just refuse to break the skin, though. They never break the skin.
Just throttle up. You'll be fine.
Just hammer it. You'll be fine. I was holding it in a dumb way.
Fixed it.
It did fix it. That was the one that was having a problem.
It's gone.
When you put them in turtle mode, they create upward thrust, and that bends the propellers down, and the propeller tips are always touching the bottom part. So that's why turtle mode fixes it. And yeah, your finger just rounds off the top of the propeller. That hurt, but it still didn't break the skin.
Safe.
Oh god, the core temperature. Yeah, there's still a little bit of a... Let's just pound on it. That'll fix it. I didn't need the disarm. Woo! Oh god! Oh god! Alright. Let me... Can you let me fly? Room? Nope, it can't. So, this crown frame
sucks.
has the least obstructions, and they talk about that in the documentation. And I'm starting to think it really does make a difference. In this frame, this makes a ton of power. Like, you guys will notice every crash so far was me hitting the ceiling, as in, like, it's got more power than what, although that one was...
Shout out to WeBleed right quick.
For real. This is also on the WeBleed 32,500 kV motors, so it's got 500 more kV than the 32,000s I'm used to. But I wouldn't think that 500 kV would make that big of a difference. But you never know.
Hockey rounds next week. Next week, hockey rounds next week.
Now we're getting into it. I'm also maybe used to flying that newbie drone rig.
Hello!
Oh boy. Hey!
More.
Get in there! Stop that! Fall through the gate! Uh-oh. 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 Oh boy!
And he's off to
We
get
lost
his
the motor
quad.
propeller. We
In
lost
here?
one together. Uh-oh. Motor number one. What's your deal? Oh, the motor came unplugged. That's the strangest thing ever.
Happens every time.
That's only ever happened a couple times.
Well, when you start talking, I never lost a motor before, you're bound to have some trouble.
It's gonna happen every time. Here we go! Whoa! Oh, just rejected in the face. I will say this. This build flies great in this frame. I don't necessarily know if it flies any better in this frame than the old school Meteor frame.
You fly it like a 5-inch.
Yep.
Throw it, throw it, throw it, throw it,
Right.
throw it, throw it, throw it. Momentum.
But yeah, the in terms of vibration management, this frame is really good. Way better than the Meteor 65 Air frame. So that's a big plus. We talked about that last time I was railing this frame around. But yeah, I just want to reiterate that. Like, this frame, I did not have to change my PIDs at all. With the Meteor 65 Air, and like, yes, it is lighter, so it would kind of make sense, but this frame is lighter than the old school Meteor 65 frame, where you can get a really good tune on there. So yeah, that's one of the things I like best about this frame, is that you don't have to turn your PIDs down, which is awesome.
And a short reminder during this flight that this is Aaron Ciotti's full-time job, and it seemed like CiottiFPV is nice enough to throw a little Patreon link and the link to CiottiFPV.com.
Thank you, sirs.
Why do you keep hitting the hole you're supposed to go
That's
through?
what I'm saying, man. I think
You're off by that much every time.
I think this thing is making more power. I really do. I just heard someone walking
Just waiting for
downstairs.
somebody to come through the door, this guy. He's always thinking ahead, you know.
Yeah, this frame only has 3 tiny little things obstructing the thrust on the supports.
Oh,
Unreal. Blocking the thrust on the bottom. The Meteor frames have 6. So really, like, as hard as it is to believe, the hell am I? As hard as it is to believe, I really do think that this is making. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's not hard to believe. This does seem to be making more power.
I've never seen you hit so much shit before.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like,
you're running into everything like if I were to fly it.
this is the build that I'm used to, and like, there we go. And I'm just all over the goddamn place with it. And a lot of times that happens with lots of power. Rigs with a lot of power.
How much? How much does the frame deform when you face punch somebody? Huh?
Are hard to fly. Uh-oh, there's something wrong.
I was thinking about that nubs on the... Yeah, so if you hit somebody full tilt, I suppose, with those crowns on top of the guards there, you might put some punctures inside their foreheads. Did you take out a motor?
That was quick.
Oh, there it
broke
goes.
The frame again.
Broke the frame again?
All right, so I did bang into that wall pretty good, but that was...
That's 2?
That was a little quick. Yeah.
That's no good, ladies and
let's
gentlemen.
take a look.
But the WeBleed battery's fine.
WeBleed batteries are amazing. Yeah, I mean...
He's got like 400 of them over here.
That was a lot of crashes in the span of 2 batteries.
It really was. I did hear that last crash. Can we see the
hard? So
what did you hit?
It broke here. That would be
same place as the other one. Am I wrong?
Same exact place as the other one. Do me a favor. Rewind the stream to that. Rewind the stream to that crash and see after this quick commercial break from Sticker Mule. To see exactly what that crash was. Okay. So
that's really weird looking at myself. I can't do that anymore.
So here's where it let go. The other frame. So this happened in the front duct. The other frame. This happened in the rear duct, but it's happening in the exact same spot here between the 2 of them. It's this connection here between the duct and that. The previous one broke the entire thing off. That was a big hit onto the hardwood floors. This time it was just a big hit into the. I think I hit the TV stand.
Yeah, that was. Okay.
That was it right there.
That was it.
It was that last one, yeah, because it flew terrible after that. So cue that up, and all right. So was it that? Was it really? So let's see. I think it was this. See, during all that nonsense, like God knows what it was banging into. So on this first hit, maybe that was it hitting the ceiling. I did just hammer the throttle, and I was tilted. So I was tilted to the left.
I think you were turning right. Yeah.
Or no, turning right. So it was the left side that hit. Let's see. So I rotated right, so it would have been so that wasn't it. The left side is fine. So it hit the ceiling with motors 3 and 4, and those are fine. It's motor 1 that broke. And it wouldn't have been there, and yeah, now it's flying horribly. I was full throttle, and I couldn't even get it up over the coffee table. So it didn't happen there, because I would have noticed it. I would have noticed it here. It's got tons of power there. So it was that crash. So my assumption is in that there is that it smacked into so it's headed towards the TV and then it ends up behind. It's now behind the TV. So it must have banged the right side. So it hit the ceiling with the left side and then it must have come down on the right side in all that chaos. And it came down hard enough to just break it clean here. That's a shame. That's a shame. But Zotek has already talked about the fact that, hey, these are prototypes. This is what we do with prototypes. He can change the material that these frames are made of. And maybe that'll get us... maybe we need a material that's a little bit more bendy so that it doesn't crack and so that it bends. That's one thing that I've always thought is kind of amazing about the Meteor frames, is that they're very bendy, and they really tend to... I have cracked a couple of them, but they are very, very, very bendy. The problem with them being bendy is that it lets them wobble all over the place, and that makes it harder for the to keep vibrations out of the gyro. So it's tough, man. Zotac is kind of crazy for taking on such a difficult engineering thing. We are all very lucky that he's willing to do it.
Fair enough.
But yeah, with this frame broken like this, it's really not flyable. Technically, I could E6000 this, and in 24 hours it would be flyable again, but then it would just break again. The E6000 thing is like, you know, if you're at a race or something, well, it's not going to dry in time for a race, but yeah, if you're waiting for your replacement frame to come, do the E6000 thing, it'll get you back up in the air, but it's not strong enough to really hold this thing back together. 8:52, yo, we got done with everything before Bot Grinder's stream. There's a first.
Winners.
Jeez.
Man, what a interesting little response you got there.
That was quick. I mean, that was about 20 batteries worth of crashes, though, for most people, if not more than that. And I
well, there's some truth to that.
Right.
Send it to this guy.
I ended up banging it into hard objects anyway. So, like, even though we didn't come down to hardwood from 20 feet like we did upstairs with the other one, we still wanged it into some hardwood objects, you know. EEDoc says, time to make a fractal 65 frame with crown ducts. That would be interesting. So both of these duct failures have happened
at that junction.
At this junction.
Yeah.
And when if you were to cut one of these frames up and put it on a fractal frame, you wouldn't have that junction. Right now, the way this sits, all of the strength for the ducts comes from these 2 points here. In a fractal frame, all of the strength is going to come from the motor base. So it's going to have a completely different... the energy is going to go to a completely different spot. I personally don't like the fractal frames because they're too hard on the motors. The motor shafts bend like within 5, 10, 15 batteries for me. So I can't do the fractal frames, but maybe this frame, maybe these ducts will work really good on a fractal frame.
There is something to the mold here. If you look at, you got a camera, this thingy? Where's the... I was looking at those points. You're talking about the failure at these points here?
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at all these points. If you see how they... Okay. See how these all have nubs at those ends? Like these are mold points. Like inside the mold, can you see that? These little circles in here?
Yeah. I can. You guys can't.
Probably
but
can't
they're there.
That's very interesting. There's something with the mold. They are definitely molded differently. You can see
they're not in the crown frame.
No.
Huh.
That's interesting.
And they don't look like they're just mold release points, right? I wonder if they're like injection points.
That's my original thought. These holes are here on purpose, right? These are for something?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
God only knows what, but they're there for something.
I bet you they learned something during all that, and it's in the mold, not the plastic, not the... It might very well be the delivery in the mold. Looks like these are your 2 main injector points. And that's where they cut them off.
Okay.
And then this one, these are molded from the opposite side. You can see them here.
Look at you.
I don't know.
This guy worked in plastics for a while.
There's something. So. There might be something there because, you know, you could use all the same stuff, but if you don't... It's just if you get the same break at the same point, the same place, it usually means that there's a same reason. Look at this guy here.
Yeah, the energy is finding the weakest point.
I don't know if there's something to that. Anyway.
Frame design is hard, friends. Very, very hard. Anybody willing to do it gets a big thumbs up from me. Travis Sawyer with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. He's used the little try again emoji thing. Thank you, dude. Very cool. Kevin Sumner says, have you dialed in your rates? I don't think he's talking to me, though. But if you are talking to me, yes, this is all
Oh, the new
set up
guy.
for me.
Yeah, there was a guy in here
Okay. I had a
that
feeling.
looking for some advice, I think.
So yeah, there it is, my friends. Looks like chat. We're caught up on chat. Oh, wait. Doc says, how much does the frame deform when you face punch people? Do the nubs on the crown make face punches hurt more? They might. Kevin Sumner says...
Next week we'll find... Well, yep, hurts fine.
I gotta have him back. Yeah, right?
Doesn't break anymore.
Kevin Sumner says, Patrick, you definitely could be a radio producer on NPR with that voice.
It's a dying industry. FPV is not.
Freeloader dropping the Patreon link. Thank you, dude. CMYK dropping the CiottiFPV.com link. Thank you, dude. Hockey Round says we need 2 whoops in the air.
Yeah, next week. That's what I was...
We've done that before.
Next week.
I don't have a second...
I just need to bring my Ciotti.
But I can chase them around. Oh, you know what we should do is streamers. You run the streamer and then I chase the streamer around and try to get caught up in it.
I think you could, actually, because every time I crash, you seem to be there making sure I can't turtle over and fly away.
That's a fun game that we play. When he crashes
No, it's a
upside
fun
down,
game he plays.
I go
So
on
I
top of
crash,
him.
he finds me and stops me from flying some more. And I don't know how. It's like, you're already frustrated. Oh, I crashed. Oh, that sucks, right? And here's Ciotti.
I only did it when
Why do you suck so bad? Fly better. Fly better.
when you didn't have turtle mode. I was trying to help you. I was trying to flip you over. And then I realized it was even more fun to just hold you down.
Why? Yeah.
Oh,
Nothing
shit.
more frustrating than being in a corner upside down when trying to turtle out and another person's like, here, let me help.
I can help. I can definitely help.
Sure.
Liam Weitzel says, oh no, we got that. CMYK says, not for nothing, my tiny trainer went hard on 3S for over a year of freestyle bashing, went through 4 frames and lots of 1404 motors. I did the tiny trainer thing when it first came out, and it was really decent. There were a couple of things I didn't love about it, and I moved on, but there's been a bunch of people that have been totally happy with tiny trainers. So yeah, it's a very cool frame. It's the coolest looking micro ever.
Flies over the lake really well.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. That's what I had over the lake. So yeah, tiny trainer is an awesome little... Wow, okay.
Wow, everybody's coming out.
Hockey Rounds with a $5 super chat. He says, payday. Sleepy CBR
It is
with
Friday.
a $2 super chat. Thank you, brother.
Gentlemen.
Northern Tier with a $5 super chat.
There he is.
Graceful
Northern
guys, beer
Tier
time.
coming out of this
Thanks,
woodwork.
everybody. You guys are awesome.
Good for you all.
WeBleed says Bot Grinder's going live, so I'm going to shut this show down. Thank you, Patrick.
WeBleed. Hey.
This has been the news with CiottiFPV and P. Richard Scott FPV. Thanks for hanging. Here comes some more flying with, where'd it go? The AOS 3.5 on 3-inch props, 1404s, GemFan 3052s, 4S 850, 370-ish gram all-up weight. Cold Front and Penguin with a $2 super chat. He says he's broke. Thank you, brother, for your last $2. I'll spend it on
Yeah, look
something
at
good, I
that.
promise.
Next week, Naked GoPro. No, Naked O3 Air Unit.
Fuck yeah. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Hockey Rounds. Thank you, Sleepy CBR. Thank you, Northern Tier. Thank you, Cold Front and Penguin. You guys are awesome. Everybody else, thank you as well.
Whoa. There's one throwing in for you.
Freeload Joe with a $5 super
Another
chat. Pay for you.
$5.
Thank you, brother.
$5. Should I get on real quick and just...
CiottiFPV.com. Support me. Do all the things, and I'll keep doing this.
Payday Friday. Good for you.
Thanks, friends. I need to pick out a song real quick.
The man flies for you.
Just for you
He
guys.
does. He keeps
One
me in a corner and
by
makes
Ray
sure I can't
Racine.
get up, but for you, he flies.
It's true. Gotta hold them up
That.
and comers down so they don't...
How many of them do you go
don't get
under is
better
my
today.
question.
Be good, my friends. I love you. Bye! I hit the wrong button. Hold on. I love you. Bye!